Hey there fellow RVers, it's your favorite service technician, Joe Welches from Colonial RV. And today we are back with another RV tip video. RVing is an incredible experience, especially for the first time, but owning and operating an RV just isn't as easy as starting the ignition and driving off into the sunset. So to help you avoid some of the common newbie pitfalls, we've put together a list of 5 things to not do with your RV before you hit the road. So it's crucial to understand what not to do. There are hurdles that even seasoned road warriors can fall into. So whether it's understanding the size of your vehicle or overestimating the campground's amenities offerings, there's plenty of blunders that can put a damper on your RV adventures. So grab a cup of coffee and let's dive right in. So our first tip is going to be proper awning usage. One of RV ownership's most overlooked yet essential elements is awning care. For new RV owners, the awning serves as an attractive feature that extends your living space to the outdoors. However, many don't realize that incorrect care or improper use, like storing it when wet or using it in high winds, can lead to a problem that can be both unhealthy for the unit and costly for you. So one of the main issues I see is mold growing on these awnings. These are made from a fabric that can retain the moisture, so when they're stored wet, this creates a perfect environment for mold to thrive. So some might think it's no big deal, but not only does this mold ruin the aesthetics of the awning, it can also pose health risks, including allergies or respiratory problems. So even in the great outdoors, the proximity of mold to your living space can be hazardous. Mold can manifest itself in several different ways, so look out for dark spots, streaks, or any discoloration on the fabric. Sometimes it starts along the seams, where the moisture is more likely to collect. So it's important to always ensure that your awning is completely dry before rolling it up. If it's been exposed to rain or the morning dew, extend it fully and let it air dry. If you're in a rush, consider using towels to manually dry the fabric quickly. It's not only the water that you need to worry about, but also twigs, leaves, and dirt. Make sure that you clean off all that debris so it's less hospitable for mold to grow. And if you do see some mold starting to grow, don't panic. Simply grab some hydrogen peroxide, mix that with water. Avoid using bleach if possible, as it can cause the fabric to fade. Apply that cleaning solution generously in the affected areas and let that sit for 10 to 15 minutes. Then use a soft bristle brush or some rags to scrub that mold away gently, and then rinse off that cleaning solution thoroughly. It's crucial to dry that up completely before retracting it to avoid recreating a damp environment for that mold to grow. The other mistake I see quite often is when folks use their awning in inclement weather. The simple truth is the awning is not there to protect you from heavy rainfall or strong winds. You should probably be inside if the weather is that bad. The fact is that most RV awnings are made from fabrics like vinyl or acrylic, and they are not designed to handle extreme weather conditions. While they will provide you with ample shade and some degree of rain protection, these materials can fail under heavy winds, snow, or torrential downpour. Awnings are supported by arms and brackets that can bend or even break under the weight of snow or strong winds. So this can lead to the awning fabric tearing or the support arms bending and breaking. Sometimes the awning can even detach from the RV, causing additional damage. So that's why I say always keep an eye on the weather forecast when you have the awning extended. Apps or weather stations can alert you when it's time to retract your awning. If you anticipate mild winds, you can use the awning stabilizers and tie downs to keep it secure. However, these are not foolproof solutions in extreme conditions, so retracting the awning is always going to be the safest bet. Number 2 is remembering to use lubricant. If you're new to the RV lifestyle, it won't take you long to realize that regular maintenance is crucial for keeping your home on wheels running smoothly. One vital yet often overlooked aspect of the upkeep is proper lubrication. Whether it's your RV's slide-out seals, its leveling gear, or its door hinges, appropriate lubrication not only extends the lifespan of these components, but also enhances their performance. Let's focus on your slides, one of the most revolutionary features in modern RVs. This expands your living space with just the push of a button. So why lubricate your slide outs? Well, 2 reasons: smooth operations and component longevity. The slides, the seals, are subjected to a lot of wear and tear. The lubrication can substantially extend the lifespan of these components while also ensuring that the slide outs move in smoothly. By properly lubricating, you ensure your slide outs keep working like the day you bought it without any jerks or any hitches, making for a more pleasant RVing experience. Now, determining what type of lubricant can seem confusing, but let me break them down really quickly. There are a couple of different types and they all serve their own function. First, you have dry versus wet lubricants. Dry lubricants tend to leave behind no oily residue, making them ideal for areas that are prone to attracting dirt and grime. However, wet lubricants are used on internal mechanisms that are not exposed to any outside elements, but they still require long-lasting lubrication. And then next you have silicone-based versus Teflon or PTFE lubricants. Silicone-based lubricants are versatile and can be used in a lot of range of conditions, but they may attract dust. Teflon-based or PTFE lubricants are typically more efficient for high friction surfaces, but are more expensive. And lastly, you have petroleum versus synthetic lubricants. Petroleum-based lubricants are less expensive and are good for general purpose lubrication. However, synthetic lubricants are better at withstanding extreme temperatures and they tend to last quite a bit longer. When you're choosing between various types of lubricants for your RV slide-out seals or any other exposed elements, look for dry options, preferably those containing PTFE or dry silicone. This will help maintain the components efficiently without attracting dirt or debris, prolonging the lifespan of your RV's mechanical parts. Lubrication is an often overlooked yet essential part of RV maintenance. Selecting the appropriate lubricant not only preserves the integrity of various components, but also enhances their performance, saving you both time and money in the long run. Number 3, I know you've all been warned and beaten down about propane safety, specifically why you should consider not driving with your propane on. Before diving in, let's address the long-standing debate. Is it illegal to drive with your propane on? Technically, no. Aside from a few exceptions like entering gas stations or tunnels, some may even argue that they've been driving with propane on for decades without any issues at all. However, let's examine some compelling reasons why it might be a good idea to turn your propane off while your RV is on the road. Understanding the complexities and the associated risks of using propane while driving your RV can be vital for both your safety and the longevity of the appliances. So let's delve a little bit deeper into 3 concerns that come into play when you decide to keep that propane valve in the on position while you're driving. So the first topic we're going to cover is how pressurized appliances react to road travel, how they're affected. When your propane is on and flowing, it pressurizes the lines leading up to various appliances like your stove, your fridge, or your water heater. The gas in these lines are ready to combust at the flick of a switch or the push of a button. That readiness might sound like a convenience, but it also implies that you have a highly flammable substance coursing through the lines of your moving vehicle. In a stable setting, these appliances are designed to combust the propane safely. But remember, if your RV is in transit and not in a stable setting, it's a vehicle susceptible to bumps, sudden stops, or other unpredictable movements that could compromise the safety of these mechanisms or these appliances. Next, let's talk about combustion. Most RV appliances rely on what is known as external combustion. This means that they use the air outside of the appliance for that combustion process. It's functional and it's efficient design that's, under normal conditions, very safe. However, when you're barreling down the highway at 65 miles per hour, the wind can change and airflow can also significantly affect this carefully balanced process. High-speed travel creates a turbulent air environment around the RV, which can interfere with the air-to-fuel ratio needed for safe and efficient combustion. Any deviation from this ratio could result in incomplete combustion, which is neither safe nor efficient, and could even lead to the release of hazardous fumes like carbon monoxide. And lastly, we have flame displacement. As your RV moves, the natural airflow generated by the vehicle's speed tends to pull on the flame until it's inside the propane-fueled appliance. The flame is designed to be in a specific position for optimal and safe combustion. If the flame's position is altered due to this airflow, you risk malfunctioning of the appliance, incomplete combustion, or even a potential fire hazard. A flame that has been displaced from its intended location is not only inefficient, but also perilously close to becoming uncontrollable, which could lead to catastrophic outcomes such as fires or explosions. I know it might seem like a hassle to turn off your propane when you're hitting the road, especially when you're excited to get onto your next adventure spot, but trust me, a little precaution goes a long way. Turning off the propane is a quick and a simple step, and it's about ensuring that your RV experiences are filled with happy memories rather than stressful incidents. Number 4, it's a quick and easy one. Do not drive with your black or your gray tank valve gates, like this, open. There's no argument here. Nobody wants to see little bits of liquid or matter falling out behind their RV while they're driving. First off, for those of you who might be new to RVing, let's briefly explain what we mean by black and gray tanks. The black tank is where your sewage and your wastewater from your toilet or your commode will go. The gray tank, however, holds the water from your sinks and from the shower. Both tanks are given their own set of issues that can arise if they are not properly managed. There can be some real dangers or issues that arise if you drive with your gates open. Starting with the black tank, the primary reason for keeping it closed until you're ready to dump is to prevent solid waste from building up. If the valve is open, liquids will escape, leaving behind any solids. This commonly is referred to as the poop pyramid, and it's a mess. You definitely don't want to deal with that. The poop pyramid refers to an amount of solid waste that accumulates at the bottom of the RV's black tank, and it occurs when the black tank valve is left open, allowing for those liquids to drain out but leaving that solid waste behind. Over time, this waste will build up, it'll harden, and it creates a pyramid-like shape of solidified matter. Why is this bad? Well, because it causes clogs, it causes blockages, unpleasant odors, and an inefficient use of the tank. So it also might damage your sensors and even could potentially pose health. Next is the gray tank. While it might seem harmless to leave that gray tank open, doing so can also lead to other problems. Substances like food particles, soap scum, and even hair can accumulate, creating clogs or unpleasant odors. Moreover, leaving the gate open for an extended period of time can cause these materials to harden and crystallize, requiring professional removal. So to avoid this, simply close that gate when you're not using it, and the management of the RV waste tanks may not be the most glamorous part of the adventure, but it's crucial for a trouble-free experience. For the sake of convenience and to avoid potentially messy and expensive problems, always keep those gate valves closed until you're ready for a controlled and a deliberate dump. Lastly, number 5, and that's knowing the difference between a 30 amp service and a 50 amp service. I can't tell you how crucial of a detail this is. If you're new to the RV world or you're just thinking about buying your first RV, one of the key things that you'll need to consider is that electrical service specifically. Whether you go for that 30 amp system or a 50 amp system. A 30 amp service will give you about 3,600 watts of electricity to use, which might not sound like a lot, but if you break that down, your fridge is almost always on. If you run an air conditioner, you're already using up a huge chunk of that power. In fact, with a 30 amp service, you're often going to have to choose between running your air conditioner or another high output appliance like your microwave. So you can't really generally use both at the same time without risking tripping a circuit if you're not on that full power service. On the flip side, a 50 amp service offers a lot more wiggle room, giving you a generous 12,000 watts to play with. This often will allow you to run multiple air conditioners, keep the fridge cool, microwave your dinner, and still have power to spare. So while you might be tempted to save a bit of money with a 30 amp service, consider how you plan to use the RV, and if you want the freedom to run more high output appliances at once without worrying about running out of power, a 50 amp service is definitely worth considering. It's not just an extra 20 amps, it's the flexibility to make your RV experience a lot more comfortable, a lot more convenient, and a lot more catered to you. Another important aspect to consider is the electrical service available at the chosen campsite. Campgrounds usually offer a 30 amp service or 50 amp hookups, and you'll need to make sure that your RV matches that service provided. Connecting a 50 amp RV to a 30 amp service without a proper adapter will not only limit the electricity usage, but may also potentially pose a risk overheating the electrical system or causing other potential damage to the RV appliances or even the electrical infrastructure at the campground. Likewise, plugging a 30 amp RV into a 50 amp service can lead to electrical imbalances that may be harmful to your RV's electrical components. Some RVs do have built-in systems to manage the imbalances, but it's better to be safe rather than sorry and use the correct adapter, possibly even some surge protectors. Additionally, using the wrong power service might also trip the circuit breakers at the campground, disrupting not only your own electrical service, but possibly affecting neighboring RVs as well. Always make sure to check what kind of electrical service your campsite offers and plan accordingly. Carrying both a 30 amp and a 50 amp adapter can be a lifesaver in a lot of situations. Well, there you have it, folks. Consider this your RV survival guide, and at least the initial one, and it'll keep you safe from the perils of awning mismanagement, from the subtleties of a 30 amp service versus a 50 amp service. We're laying it all out on the table for you. RVing is supposed to be about freedom, exploration, and the joy of the open road. But remember, a successful RV journey also comes down to being prepared, well-informed, and respectful of your vehicle and your fellow adventurers. So the next time you're thinking about gallivanting out into the great unknown, remember these 5 essential don'ts, and your future self and your RV will thank you. And if you found this video helpful, be sure to hit that like button and subscribe if you haven't already. And do you have any other tips for new RVers? Leave them in the comments below, and maybe we'll end up adding it to one of our videos. This is Joe W. signing off. Safe travels, everyone.